Türkiye.
Merhaba Türkiye.
One thing Raymond would never do.
Let a friend down. No, yeah, sleep with the Targaryen. Finn.
Sorry, that's quite on television.
I have been to Turkey. I went when I was 18. It was beautiful, man. It was hot.
Game of Thrones evreni denince aklımıza hep devasa ordular, gökyüzünü esir alan ejderhalar ve demir taht için birbirine giren karakterler geliyor. Ama George R. R. Martin'in bu evrende anlattığı en özel hikayelerden biri aslında en küçük hikayelerden biri. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms bizi orijinal diziden yaklaşık 90 yıl öncesine, Targaryenların gücünün zirvesinde olduğu ama içten içe çatırdamaya başladığı bir döneme götürüyor. Bu anlatı kitaplar arasında da birçok kişinin en sevdiği hikaye olarak öne çıkıyor. Burada Game of Thrones evrenini kökünden değiştirecek, büyük gürültüler yaratan devrimler yok. Burada boyu 2 metreyi aşan ama cebinde 3 kuruşu olmayan gezgin bir şövalye ile dazlak küçük bir çocuğun Westeros yollarında kurduğu o sıra dışı dostluğu izliyoruz. Harita üzerinde terör estiren delileri bir önceki dizilerde bırakıyoruz ve kafası pek de çalışmayan bir halk adamının hayatına bakıyoruz. Dunk fiziken bir dev ama bu dünyanın acımasızlığı karşısında oldukça kırılgan bir figür. Bu durum izleyicinin onunla çok güçlü bir empati kurabilmesini sağlıyor. Ayrıca bu tezatlık onu bugüne kadar izlediğimiz tüm o yenilmez kahramanlardan ayırıyor. Peki bu küçük hikaye devasa Westeros külliyatının neresine düşüyor? Yaptığımız röportajda dizinin yaratıcısı kendi hikayesini nasıl tanımladı? Buyurun beraber bakalım.
Game of Thrones universe is known for massive intrigues and wars. In A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, you are telling a smaller, more personal story. In which words would you describe this series' place within this universe?
Yeah, look, we are a simpler story, a little bit more intimate. It's not that, Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon isn't intimate, but we're a single POV. We have one guy and he's quite unpolished and he's quite gritty and earthy. And that's where we like to live. We like our horses, we like our trees, and hopefully, and we try to have a lot of heart. Because in lieu of dragons and the dead coming to kill mankind.
I think you created a really nice and simple character by Dunk. It is really easy to understand him from my point of view. He's not a complex character. When I'm able to understand the main character in this kind of series, which is really, good, let's say. So it was really nice to follow his story. I really enjoyed it.
I will pass that on to Mr. R. Martin.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Bu arada oyunculara favori Game of Thrones karakterlerini sorduk. Cevaplar şöyleydi.
It's either Tyrion or Arya. I loved Arya's whole arc.
Daenerys' dragon.
Daenerys' dragon,
Yeah, the
100%.
3 dragons. They're all cool.
Probably Tyrion.
I mean, I love Peter Dinklage just as a kind
Dinklage is just great.
as an actor. He's up there with the best of them.
I always forget. Who's Lena Headey's? What's her character's name? Cersei?
Cersei, yeah, Lannister.
That's my favorite character.
I've got to go with Arya Stark and where she starts to where she ends and what it all means.
Tyrion Lannister or Jaime Lannister. I think great arcs. I like seeing the kind of cockiness and Jaime comes in with and where he ends up after his reckoning. And then Tyrion, same thing, kind of has his kind of world collapses in on it.
Tyrion was the most popular answer in the Outer Rooms as well.
Oh, let's go. Yay.
Bu diziyi en azından görsel anlamda farklı kılan en çarpıcı unsur gökyüzünde ejderha olmaması. Ejderhalar yok diyoruz ama tabii Targaryenların o meşhur delilik ve ihtişam fırtınası yine esmeye devam ediyor. Bir babanın çocuklarının bu kadar uç kutuplara savrulmasını izlemesi ve bir yandan hanedan yükünü omuzlarında taşıması. Bu hikaye aslında Targaryenlara dair çok fazla detay barındırıyor. Dizinin ana karakterlerinden Egg, tüm bu soy bilinci ve soyluluk kavramlarının tam ortasında belki de ailesinin gelecekteki tek umudu olarak ama çocukluğunu feda ederek büyüyor. Bilgi burada bir güç mü, yoksa o yaşta bir çocuk için taşınması imkansız bir yük mü? Acaba bir Targaryen olmak her zaman bir lütuf mu, yoksa kaçamayacağım bir lanet mi?
In House Targaryen, the conversation usually revolves around the extremes, madness or magnificence. Where does Baelor, your character, stand in this equation?
That's a good question. None of us is our family. We all get one, and you have to choose what to do with the hand you're dealt. And I think that's true of this man. If you think about it, which of the characters really sits neatly within any one of those? I think what is being described there is that everybody has their own choices to make.
Your character is kind of different than the other Targaryen.
Yes, each of us, you can go with or against the grain. And yes, he goes against the grain, and I like him for it. It also makes it a much more interesting character. I like characters with a certain depth of field. It was important to me that you shouldn't know from one moment to the next which way he's going to fall. Eyes of a different colour. And the reason we decided to do that, apart from that it looked good, was that I felt that I wanted him to be kind of chromatic.
Hikayede herkesin nefretini mıknatıs gibi üzerine çeken bir Targaryen karakteri de olmazsa olmaz. Aerion Targaryen'a hayat veren Finn'e de kendi karakterine ve karakterin günümüzdeki karşılığına dair bir soru sorduk.
Aaron is a Targaryen and he wants to everyone to feel it. What was it like to play this lineage consciousness, like the sense of connection to the ancestry?
Like a sense of duty.
Yeah, and what would you think of such a character in today's world?
I think there are lots of characters like that in today's world. I think lots of them are politicians or monarchs. I really enjoyed playing it because it was I really like history and I really liked establishing a kind of false history, establishing the lineage and knowing who had been in charge, and also kind of politically where the Targaryens are at the minute and how much control they have of the Iron Throne is much more up for grabs in our storyline now. I think he feels that sense of duty from decades and decades and decades of Targaryens, but I feel personally he's a bit embarrassed by how his family are handling things at the minute, and this tournament is beneath him or beneath them. So yeah, that was kind of great ammunition to tackle the question of how to justify his actions.
Alev alev yanan bu ailenin en küçük üyesi Egg, dizinin ana karakteri. Üstelik kendisi ilk sezon çekimlerinde henüz 9 yaşındaymış. Ancak söylemleri sanki bir yetişkine ait. Bu konuyu kendisi de şöyle değerlendiriyor.
Egg as a character has some awareness for beyond his age. Do you think this is an advantage or a burden that forced him to grow up too early?
I think that does definitely help him because he would, if he was still being a kid in that world, even if he was a Targaryen, he'd be dead because he'd mess around with the wrong person.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't know who the right person to talk to is, and he'd probably end up trying to have a chat with he's like a mean king from Game of Thrones.
Joffrey.
Joffrey. You'd end up having a conversation with him, joking about him, and then he'd realise, oh, oops, wrong person.
Orijinal seride genellikle bu evrenin şatafatlı anlarına tanıklık ettik. Ancak bu kez sokaktayız, hanlardayız ve kukla oynatıcılarının yanındayız. Westeros'un fitilinin büyük savaşlarda olduğu kadar bir köylünün haksızlığa uğradığı anlarda da nasıl bir anda yanabileceğini görüyoruz. Burada onur kavramı karakterleri açık hedef haline getiren, hayatta kalmayı zorlaştıran, bazen de tanımlaması zor bir güç veren ağır bir yük. Sezonun ilerleyen bölümlerinde bazı kudretli isimlerle sadece doğruyu yapmaya çalışan halk insanlarının yolları da kesişiyor ve sınıflar arasındaki o keskin çizgi de alaşağı oluyor. Ve bu noktada aklımıza gelen en önemli sorulardan biri de şu: İyilik yapmak için gerçekten bir ünvana ihtiyacınız var mı? Tenzil gibi bir kukla sanatçısının soylu erkeklerin domine ettiği bu dünyada sadece beden diliyle bile ne kadar güçlü bir duruş sergileyebildiğini görüyoruz. Kendisi dizinin en önemli kadın karakteri olarak beden diliyle alakalı yorumumuza şu şekilde cevap verdi.
To me, Tenzil's body language seemed more prominent than her words. What was your experience regarding this?
I love that because I tried to work
It was mysterious character.
Yeah. I wanted her to be like, I think you could have maybe taken her, I could have taken her in the direction of being an over-the-top actor, very confident on stage and off stage, has the same kind of persona. But I liked, in my mind, I had this whole thing of like, okay, maybe she necessarily isn't on stage all the time. Maybe she does more of the just behind the scenes puppet stuff. And maybe this performance she had to just fill in, and it's not the most natural environment for her. But she tries to put on this acting persona on stage, and then when she's off stage, it's a little more reserved. So I tried to make her personality a little different on stage, off stage. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Tenzil karakteri bu devasa anlatının içinde bir çatlak açıyor ve bize ait olduğu sınıfın direnişini gösteriyor. Kendisi ise mevzuyu şu şekilde yorumluyor.
In this series, power is usually depicted through men and nobles. Where does Tenzil crack or disrupt this narrative from your point of view?
Such a great question. I feel like Tenzil, I think she kind of pushes back against the power and the yearning for better by just being satisfied with her life. She is a small folk. She goes from place to place. She doesn't really lead an exceptional life, but she's found her little niche. She loves her puppets. She has her troupe, and I think that she's satisfied with that. I don't think that she needs to want better. And I think that there's a strength in being confident with who you are and knowing what you like and knowing what your boundaries are and not always needing to be the best and strive for the best if what you have is perfectly fine with you, you know? So I like that about her, that she's satisfied with herself and her life.
Westeros'un sıradan insanları demişken diğer tarafta Daniel Inks'e bir Baratheon olmanın, Sam Spruell'e de bir Targaryen olmanın avantaj mı lanet mi olduğunu sorduk.
Are surnames like Targaryen or Baratheon an advantage or a curse?
Show, it can be both. A lot of these characters are suffering under the weight of those family names, but there's no denying that with that comes a lot of privilege. He often is clearly quite interested in dissecting those birthrights and expectations. So I'm going to sit on the fence and say it's both.
I'm going to say, as an actor, I loved being part of the Targaryens. They're impact characters. They're quite often mean bastards. So
Fun to play.
Yeah, fun to play. Exactly.
A Night of the Seven Kingdoms'ın Game of Thrones evreninde özel bir yere sahip olacağını düşünüyoruz. Eleştirmen yorumlarında da herkesin özellikle bir noktada birleştiğini görüyoruz. Dizi Westeros'un tam kalbini anlatıyor. Evrenin diğer hikayelerinde tanık olduğumuz savaşlar tarihi yazabilir ama dünyayı asıl değiştiren şey bireylerin verdiği küçük kararlar olabiliyor. Dunk ve Egg'in hikayesi bize kahramanlık kavramına hangi perspektiften bakabileceğimize dair klişeleşmemiş bazı tavsiyeler veriyor.
This story focuses on small ethical choices rather than grand revolutions. In your opinion, is it the massive revolutions that truly change the world, or the small but right decisions people make in their daily lives?
The small but right decisions, I think, definitely.
From your character perspective?
Yeah, for sure. Well, in this story, for sure, there's little decisions that don't make, of course, that alter his complete destiny all the time. So I would say, and I would think that probably definitely occurs. I do personally think we're all on a set path, but I think there's little branches that we can make decisions and go down different routes for sure. Yeah. Definitely.
The Game of Thrones universe is generally defined by power and violence. Where do you position your character in this world?
He wants to be just a kid. He wants to be right at the bottom of the food chain. But when he's a kid, he wants to be like no one, but he thinks himself as I'm better than everyone a bit. He doesn't want to be in that family, but he's like, don't mess with me. You don't know who I am, but I'm someone cool.
Son olarak Türkiye'den geldiğimizden bahsetmemiz üzerine gelişen bazı sohbetleri de sizinle paylaşmak isteriz.
Have you ever been in Turkey?
I have been to Istanbul.
Ah, and when?
When I was about like 8 years old, so I don't really remember.
Okay.
I've never been to.
Not yet.
Should we go?
We'll go. Let's go.
Maybe when we start losing our hair. When I go get some new teeth. Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue with the short questions.
So stupid. I don't know.
No, but it's such a good answer.
I want to go see the Grand Bazaar. I want to go. I want to try on food. I'm sorry. I don't want to just get new hair.
I have been to Turkey. I went when I was 18. We were on the coast, so we weren't far from Istanbul, I guess.
The west coast of Turkey, probably?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. And it was beautiful, man. It was hot. Yeah. It was hot. I loved it, and incredible food. Yeah, I'd love to go back.
I've never been. I really want to go. We know the people who run the shop round the corner from us, and they're all a Turkish family, but they've lived in Britain for a long time. They're always talking about how great Turkey is and how they're going to sort us out with a nice place to stay. So we've got to take them up on that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
But now we have you here.
Yeah, so you can tell us all about it.
Yes, I have. When I was a child, I went on holiday, and my abiding memory is of going to visit a lot of Roman ruins in a very hot bus, and then being incredibly pleased that the sea existed.
Oh.
And then
Maybe
I had no idea. I should find out. I also remember that on the plane on the way home, I was traveling with my dad, and we couldn't get on the plane because they'd oversold the flight. They used to do that in those days. Maybe they still do. And he kicked up a fuss, and we managed to get one seat. So I sat on my dad's lap, and I don't think they'd allow that today.
And how old were you?
We must have been about 6, maybe 7. And then because we had one seat, we only got one meal. And my dad kicked up a fuss again, and they brought us the captain's dinner. And then I didn't want it.
Perfect story.
Fucking
I
actors.
didn't expect that.
Yeah.
A Night of the Seven Kingdoms ilk bölümüyle HBO Max'te başladı. Sizin de içerikle ve diziyle alakalı yorumlarınızı bekleriz. Şimdiden herkese iyi seyirler.